Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Vishnu Paramahamsa Parivrajakaracharya Sutta Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sakar Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopala Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vindai Sankirtan Ki Jai. Go Premanande Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the Son of Devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to the Son of Devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to the Son of Devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru Shri Gauranga. All glories to Shri Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I'm going to read from Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 10, Chapter 15, and we're starting with text Shanti Kind for Ludhani Denukena Duratmana. In the Talavan forest, many fruits are falling from the trees, and many are already lying on the ground, but all the fruits are being guarded. Soti Virya Suro Rama, He Krishna Kararupadik Atmatulya Balair Anyair Gati Bhir Buhu Bhir Vritaha. O Rama, O Krishna, Dhanuka is a most powerful demon and has assumed the form of an ass. He is surrounded by many friends who have assumed a similar shape and who are just as powerful as he. And text 24. Tasmat krita naraharat bitairnivir amitrahan nasevyate pashuganai pakshi sangai vivarjitam. You can repeat together the word for word. Tasmat, of him. Kritanara Aharat, who has eaten human beings. Bidhaihi, who are afraid. Nribihi, by the human beings. Amitrahan, O killer of enemies. Nasevyate, is not resorted to. Pashuganaihi, by the various animals. Pakshi Sanghaihi, by the flocks of birds. Vivarjitam, abandoned. Tasmat Kritanaraharat, Tasmat Kritanaraharat, Bhetair Nibir Amitrahan, Bhetair Nibir Amitrahan, Nasevyate Pashuganai, Pakshi Sangai Vivarjitam, Tasmat Kritanaraharat, Bhetair Nibir Amitrahan, Nasevyate Pashuganai, Pakshi Sangai Vivarjitam. Nasevyate Pashuganai, Vivarjitam. Tasmat Kritanaraharat, Bhetair Nibir Amitrahan. Apologies. We're going to the translation purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The demon Dhanuka has eaten man alive, and therefore all people and animals are terrified of going to the Tala forest. O killer of the enemy, even the birds are afraid to fly there. The cowherd boyfriends of Lord Krishna and relation upon the potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and reasoned thus: Krishna has already killed terrible demons like Baka and Naga, so what is so special about this obnoxious jackass named Dhanuka, who has become public enemy number one in Vrindavan? The cowherd boys wanted Krishna and Balaram to kill the demons, so that all the pious inhabitants of Vrindavan could enjoy the fruits in the Tala forest. Thus they requested the special favor for the ass demons to be killed. For the ass demons be killed. Let the ass demons be killed. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Dhanuka Sura doesn't have much time left. He's nearing his death. We are all in similar position. We are all facing the same situation in this matter. People who don't believe in God or who deny God, His existence, who defy Him openly. Those who are atheistic, and some of the atheistic people, they even say they are not atheistic, they are anti theistic, to just stress more their inborn, we could say, almost, or at least very well grown or breed. Little baffling. Why would you spend so much time proving something that doesn't exist? Yes, you don't care. If something doesn't exist, why do you spend so much time? But anyway, they do. They write big books even, trying to defy and deny God's existence. And in that sense, they also show their ignorance. But the time, as Srila Prabhupada said, that time will prove them wrong, and they will have to pay the dandavats in front of the Lord. Because when the time comes, you cannot say no. It's not possible. We say the might is right. Some people say that, and they build some philosophies based on this. The might is right, which were very demonic, but actually it presents the ignorance of the soul. He represents the deep ignorance of the reality of identity. In Krishna consciousness, we learn who we are. The whole thing, the whole process of Krishna consciousness is about our identity, because from that stems our action, and then the result of that action in terms of the body, for the pleasure of the body, for the body. We basically worship this material body and whatever is attached to it or related to it. Possessions, everything we want to have. This is Dhanuka Sura. His mentality is like that. He thinks this forest is for him, and he's guarding. This is his area of influence, and no one has any right to that. I remember we used to, as children, we used to do that also. We didn't have fruit forests, but there were gardens with fruits around in our neighborhood. So we used to go with other boys and enjoy those fruits. And sometimes there were people who were supposed to be owners. I mean, that sounds like Dhanuka. When he got angry, he really was very loud. Yes, very scary sound he produced. when he heard the shaking of the tree, when Lord Balaram shook the tree and the fruit fell on the ground, he became so furious. In English we see red. When you become angry, you can see red. Everything becomes just red. So probably for him that was the scene, just red. He became furious and he produced sound that was louder than thunder. And have you ever heard the braying of the donkey? The sound the donkey produces, it's actually not very pleasant, and it could be scary if you think about this in some forest, and if it's loud, understood that this one lasts a longer span of time, because it takes some time to remove all the unwanted things within our heart. So Dhanuka is ignorance of the identity. And if we think about it carefully, it's the psychology of Krishna consciousness that this is where it all starts in some ways. As long as we think in terms of material body and in terms of anything else than the reality of being servant of Krishna, we will act in a way which is erroneous. We will make some misjudgments, because we'll still think in terms of how to satisfy ourselves instead of satisfying the Lord, which is the goal of life of a devotee. Devotee doesn't want to think in terms of his own benefit or of his own goals and achievements in this material world, because there is nothing to achieve in this material world. Everything is going to be lost. Everything, every position of power, influence, any success, material gains, everything and anything, it will all be lost. It never belongs to us. So devotee knows that. Non-devotees, when they can, so we do things as per our misunderstanding. So our action stems from that, and then the result also, the goal of life, is not understood. People think that the goal of life is to get things and possess them and use them for their own pleasure. The devotee knows that no, this is not this way. Everything is meant to be used for the pleasure of Krishna, and everything belongs to Krishna only. And Krishna consciousness means ability to see that everything is Krishna. Srila Prabhupada explained this. I don't remember exactly, but in Bhagavad Gita, that associate with devotees by mercy of Srila Prabhupada. I remember Krishna. We would see in a very dualistic way that this is not Krishna, this is Krishna, this is not this, and it's all right. It's nothing wrong. We should be fearful of Maya. Srila Prabhupada said that the problem of devotees is that they are not fearful enough of Maya. But then he said also that, what do you see when you see the tree? And Prabhupada said, I see the tree. He didn't say, I see Krishna. So Prabhupada didn't see Krishna. Prabhupada said, I see the tree that belongs to Krishna. So there could be, of course, different ways of perceiving the tree, but this is what Prabhupada said, I see the tree that belongs to Krishna. So you see the tree, but you know to whom it belongs, and you know what to do with the tree. By the way, Srila Prabhupada didn't like trees to be cut, so we shouldn't cut trees. We have sometimes temples in which there are trees growing. Of course, the demon, he was disturbance. All the demons, they come and they disturb life of devotee. Devotees, they are generally not very much disturbed by the circumstances, but they want to please Krishna. So the demons, if they disturb the natural flow of devotion, and they, devotees may want this obstacle to be removed, yes. And also they are, of course, thinking of others. That's also what Srila Prabhupada said, that to control the mind, one should always think about the welfare of others. This is the best way. We have psychology courses, what to do with the mind is disturbing and this and that. Actually, we should think of the welfare of the world. And we already know what is the welfare, that is Krishna consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada came to give it, we can help and we can assist in that service. And that service, that welfare, is the welfare of removing that ignorance which Dhenukasura represents, that ignorance of the soul. Because of that ignorance, we can see the whole world is in total chaos. There is so much of that's going on, war. Now they want to stop war. Maybe new politician comes in power, he says he will stop the war, but you can't, because you haven't stopped killing of the animals. The slaughter is going on every day. There are discussions whether this or that country is humane or inhumane because they slaughtered some children during war and other civilians, but there's not much discussion going on the slaughter of animals that is going on all over the world, and that is very sinful. Now for the last few days there have been some observances here in Salem and other places also, and there was lots of slaughter going on as well. We saw some in front of temples, so not very pleasant, quite ghastly, and doesn't seem to be very auspicious. So there's so much of and we're supposed to be there. Still this Dhanuka comes within. The ignorance of the reality is able to overcome those who are striving to be living the truth of reality of what we are, that we are spirit souls, parts and parcels of Krishna, that we are servants of the Lord. So one should be very careful not to fall into illusion. I'll read some small passage. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says, the devotee who worships the holy name should first petition the Lord for the strength to cast out all these, destroy these problems. A devotee must cry very humbly before the Lord and admit defeat. Then the Lord will nullify all contaminations. So this is quite interesting, inspiring thought that we should come in that defeated mentality in front of the Lord, because we are not able. That's why even here the great devotees, pure devotees, cowhead boys, they wanted Krishna and Balaram to kill the demons. This is Krishna's playing like this donkey, the sounds of defiance against the will of the Lord. Instead of doing that which our mind may like to produce, we should very humbly come in front of the Lord and beg His mercy so that He can remove those obstacles, those anarthas, those demonic tendencies within our heart, because they are there. We should also not fall into illusion that we are already pure devotees.